read some really interesting, things.
Are you still trying to repair the image of Iowa football nationally?
Yeah, I don't know that I can answer that. I think a lot of the shots that were taken were drive-by shooters, I think, if you will. And to throw out the term barbaric or somebody suggested we'd have 13 transfers, things like that. I mean, those are shots from left field. And, as I said a month and a half ago, I just encourage people to know the parties involved here, know the people on the staff, know the players on our team, and talk to past players. Talk to guys like Will Lack, who he qualified for Harvard Medical School. He's a heck of a lot smarter than anybody that's ever worked in our football department. I don't want to step on anybody's toes. But anybody that's worked in our offices, and he thought there was a lot of value in going through the program, and I think he'd still tell you that today. And probably the most ludicrous thing, the shot that was taken at Ned Amendola, who's just an outstanding physician, respected internationally, not only nationally but internationally. And the report I read on him, I mean, it's just totally ludicrous. Here's an orthopedic surgeon who is at a convention. Because he's sought after, and people like to hear him talk. Smart people like to hear him talk, and he was in touch all the way through this. Had he been here, his role would have been the same. He was not the presiding physician. Kyle Smoot handled the whole operation, and appropriately so. That's his area of expertise, not Ned. So, if there's one thing I would single out, that would be the one that I really thought was damaging. I thought it was a real cheap shot. And again, I go back to my point, know the people involved. Ned Amendola is just outstanding. He's stellar. And, he's top shelf. So, maybe we don't want people of that caliber, working here. I don't know, but I think I do. I know that. I'm very appreciative that he's part of our program. He's as good as they come.
All other schools will try to use this against you, recruiting-wise?
Oh, I would imagine that's probably the case. Yeah, sure. So. But it's the same thing. I think it's a matter of when prospects come on campus. It's something we're going to talk about very openly, and we'll communicate what happened, what we know. And I think the findings of the report, at least what I've read thus far, support that there was no ill intent, and we're not the only people doing this exercise. So again, the question still remains: why did it happen here? And certainly we're going to be very cautious moving forward.
Did you already made all your decisions on what changes you wanted to make before you ever read the report on their recommendations?
What changes in terms of?
The workouts?
Well, I mean, it was pretty clear once that happened, until we knew otherwise, we weren't going to go down that path. And that's not something we do on a monthly basis. I think that was well documented too. It's been 4 times in 12 plus years. So that certainly we were not going to repeat that until we knew more information. Right now, to me, again, we can't directly say that was the cause. Certainly it was a factor. And I'll throw another interesting part about it. I mean, we had 2 players of very similar stature in terms of size, years in the program. One guy finished it in under 9 minutes. Another guy took over 50. And the guy that did it in 9 walked away sore. But, I mean, they're all sore. We understand that. But walked away perfectly fine. The other player was affected. So, how do you explain those things? And I'm not smart enough to know that. And again, we're just going to stay away from the exercise.
This is maybe old ground, but what was the value and what was gained from that exercise in the past?
It's like a lot of things that we do. We put players in tough situations, difficult circumstances. We do the same thing on the practice field. We did that in December on the practice field. And that's part of what we do, because when we play on Saturdays or in bowl games, it's usually pretty challenging out there. The competition we play is tough. It's going to get tougher with Nebraska coming in our conference. That's just the nature of what we do. So it's been that way for 13 years, and as I said earlier, we work hard. We'll continue to work hard. Our drills, not all drills, but a lot of things we do are competitive and difficult, challenging by design, but they're also safe by design. And I think, again, the report verified that. But all that being said, we're not going down that road again. It's just we're not going to do it.
One of the things that the report kind of, I won't say chided you for necessarily, but the communication maybe with athletes and coaches, what have you, regarding players are pushing themselves to limits in all sports, regardless of whether it's football or not. But whether it's I'm really sore, I'm hurt, my legs hurt from squatting like anybody else in the world would. versus something like this? How do you bridge that gap maybe in the communication between going too
Certainly
far?
tricky and tough, because again, you know, I can tell you right now, the other 3 times we've done it, the players were sworn in too. You know, and I've read reports about, somebody researched the Eagles back, 10 years ago, I guess it was, but they were convinced, whoever did the research were convinced that those players were experiencing rhabdo and didn't report it. But I guess going back to your question, all the players have been sore, so we've gotten through the exercise safely before. Again, I know other schools are doing the same thing without incident. So why it happened this time, I still can't answer. We'll continue to be, and we've all, I think everybody in this medical community and coaching community has learned a lot more about rhabdo. None of us really knew much about it up until this instant. And I think if you research it, it's really not talked about, hasn't been talked about, more so probably in the military than with athletics, outside of the South Carolina swimming incident. And I'm sticking to college, not high school. I know there's a high school report written also. So at the end of the day, we'll be prudent. Our medical staff, I think, does a fantastic job. Our trainers are on the front line, if you will. And, they're very vigilant. So, and I thought, once there was a concern, where they addressed it right away. Everybody was contacted on the team and encouraged to report any instances, or anything that might even be close to a symptom.
Any hesitancy